Here I want to demonstrate how to model a part of relation or property that can accommodate both usage. One use part of as a transitive property, another use part of as a non-transitive property. So the idea is to define a transitive property. I'll call it part of trans. I will make a non-transitive part of property a subproperty of the transitive part of property. I have two instance triples to test out this idea. I will explain why it works shortly, but at this time we want to check that we actually have the basic rule set that supports the reasoning. We're using RDFS plus as usual. Let me go to here to drop my old graph and then come back here to create this new graph. So to test our idea whether how part of and part of trans going to trigger the inferences, I have some Sparkle queries. So I want to first try out part of. If I just question, tell me all the part of relations that you know within this graph, the inference examples graph, let's see what the system tell me. The reasoner actually did not do more than what we told it. We told him A1 is part of A2, A2 is part of A3. So it just simply gave us back what we told it. So this is what we told them. A1 is part of A2, A2 is part of A3. But if we actually now apply trans, so basically we're asking the system, we're applying this trans part of trans property. We actually want the system to use this part of trans, which is transitive property. Having that in place, when we run this query, you'll notice that the system actually inferred a new relation. A1 is part of A3. This is a result of transitive relation, right? Because we told it A1 is part of A2, A2 is part of 3. Because part of trans is transitive, we have A1 part of A3 being inferred. So why this works? It's actually, when you start to look at it, it might be a little bit confusing. We can digest this way. So we know this is what we give it, right? Because we have part of a subproperty of trans. The reasoner are going to infer two more triples. Anything that's part of something, it should also be part of trans something. Okay, so these two triples that I just typed here is the result of the reasoning based on this statement. And now with this together, the system trying to answer our question, find me all the part of trans properties. So go back here, the system have this bunch to reason through. And because we have A1 is actually trans, part of trans A2 and two part of trans is A3, and part of trans is a transitive property. Based on this three, the system will infer that A1 is part of transitive of A3. This is why when you use part of, the system will not infer that, because this does not work together with this transitive statement. But this set that was inferred through this subproperty statement works with part of trans as a transitive property. That allows the system to generalize, to apply the transitive rules to infer that A1 is actually a part of A3.